Good afternoon, everybody. John Pound Martin Miller here. Hope you're going well. Just digging into some mushy peas I made. I haven't been back in England for more than 24 hours, so we're just digging back into the traditional food. So, excuse me. So, I just want to talk to you about the last 10 days of my trip. Okay, so I came back to Johannesburg after a long bus from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. I didn't go to Harare because the accommodation there wasn't that cheap. And even though I really wanted to see Hirozakura, I just thought, no, my money is not going to go far here. So I took the bus back to Johannesburg, and I had to deal with a really rude police officer on the border who singled me out because I was the only non-African citizen there. And basically, he just searched through my properties and he found my Australian passport and he went absolutely ape shit on me for having two passports. But he was literally just a retard who doesn't understand that people can have two passports. I mean, I have an Australian passport because I was born there, but I have a British passport because I am of British blood. So, some people in the world, they're allowed to have two passports, okay? I mean, I have to carry an Australian passport because, well, what happens if something happens in Australia to my family and I gotta go back there? Simple. And I have to carry a British passport because I became a British citizen many years ago because I didn't want to go through the bullshit of having to apply for an ancestry visa. I'm automatically a British citizen even though I was born in Australia because my father's English. So, this police officer basically was like, oh, well, how much US dollars gonna give me? I'm like, I'm not gonna give you any of it. He doesn't deserve any of it because he's a dumb shit South African. And another bad thing about the border post was this immigration officer, it was a woman, she was like, oh, you need a visa for South Africa. I'm like, lady, I came to this country the 30th of August. I'm entitled to stay here for 90 days. Yes, I have entered and left your country 3 other times, like using the Lesotho and the Eswatini border post, okay? I don't need a visa to come to South Africa. I'm a British citizen. British citizens have always been entitled to come to South Africa for many years. So, the police officers on that border post were just a bunch of fucking retards, and this black South African guy says, oh, you're under arrest, like a joke. And the bus driver of that bus was like, leave him alone, he's entitled to have two passports, let's let him get back on the bus. And I mean, I felt that this was a really racist experience because I've not had to deal with much racism in the past. Even though in Guyana, this Afro-Guyanese guy yelled out of his car like, "Oh, white boy, you allowed to take? Sorry, excuse me." He said, "Hey, white boy, you have permission to take photographs?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a tourist. I mean, I'm taking a photograph of the Parliament of Guyana. It's not against the law." So. I literally just spent the next 10 days in Pretoria, just not doing much. I started writing about my next book. But I stayed the rest of my holiday in Pretoria because I didn't want to go to Mozambique. I didn't want to travel to the Eastern Cape. Because I just thought, well, the accommodation on the Eastern Cape or in Mozambique wouldn't be cheaper. I spent like 1,000 Rand for a couple of days worth of accommodation in a single room in Pretoria, really nice backpackers. And then for my last 6 days, I stayed at this guest house. It was a bit outside of Pretoria, but I mean, still in the Pretoria range. And that was okay, even though the bloody mosquitoes were keeping me awake at night. So, like, I left, I flew out of Johannesburg Thursday afternoon, and literally, what I had in hard currency, I basically spent all that on South African Rand. So I wasn't dipping into my savings account, which is a good thing. And I flew from Johannesburg to Nairobi, and I had a 10-hour layover. I exchanged the last of my Rand for some Kenyan shillings, so I just buy like a cup of coffee and some bottled waters, and that's it. And then I flew from Nairobi all the way to London. Now, I was supposed to get on a flight to go to Paris, because literally my return ticket was Paris to Johannesburg via Nairobi, but they decided to fly me to London instead, so I got off the plane and entered London. It doesn't bother me that I didn't go back to Paris because, well, Paris is my home and I've already been to Paris this year. Yes, so This week I'm doing a couple of job trials because I'm starting a new job in London, and I hope it goes well. As for future travel plans, I want to go away for my birthday this year like I normally do, but I may not be able to because I'll be starting a new job. But I do hope around January, like next year, I can catch up with my friends Daniel and Mr. Grimshaw, and we can go to the Isle of Man and do a vlog about the Bee Gees. So just fingers crossed for that. I have been complaining to the South African police force about this incident, and they have apologized and said, "Oh, we're really sorry that this has happened." They wanted me to go back to the border post and file a statement. So I'm going to call them up in the next couple of days and basically say, look, this is what happened. This police officer is a scumbag. He's not a good Christian, and he's a really disrespectful person, and he should be either sacked or thrown in jail. Because I know corruption is a really big thing around the world, and I've only had experience with corruption in apart from South Africa, Kazakhstan, and Senegal. But it just makes me feel like wanting to be racist to somebody in Africa. I rang up those people in Senegal who stole money from me, and I basically said, you guys are fucking dumb shit Africans. I'm not saying that people from Africa are dumb shits, but it's just that in life, okay, if you do a good job and somebody else does a really crap job, you should have you should have the right to basically point the finger and say, you're a dumb shit, you need to fix up your act. It's not being racist, because I would never ever use the N-word or any of those racial terms to describe somebody of a different origin. I can't even stand listening to rap music because those rappers use the N-word, and they're just so offensive, even though a lot of people can think heavy metal is also offensive. But anyway, I get back to the drawing board. It's Martin Millhead. I'm over and out.